Another Tuesday news day. Welcome, I'm Adventure Argonaut, and this is the Golden News. So I will recount some social issues, political events, and so on from the past week. If assuming that my streams are working, I'm not sure. Okay, yes. For a minute now it looked like it wasn't working, at least like the Twitch stream, but it is. How about others? Yes, I do believe that is the case. So welcome to the my latest news stream. So here is the first story, the another Trump assassination attempt. At least this time, I think the perpetrator didn't even manage to get any shots off. So I guess that's like an improvement on behalf of the Secret Service in protecting him. So it appears they were doing their job, but it is interesting state of affairs that this seems to be happening, and there's no reason to assume that it's going to stop anytime soon, since there's no real change in public sentiment among certain types of people. But let's get to the story. So this is supposedly the guy who tried shooting him. So Trump was in his playing golf in his golf club or range or golf court. What is it called? And he was like, he had a sniper rifle and he was sticking out of a fence. And then some Secret Service agents saw him, and he escaped and he was caught. That I believe is the official story. Who knows whether there are interesting other details that we should know, but we don't know yet. Maybe we will never know, but let's move on. So Ryan Routh, however you pronounce it, I'm going to say Ruth, charged with gun crimes in Trump assassination attempt. So yeah, he's a man suspected of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump was charged with 2 gun-related crimes in federal court on Monday, a day after being spotted with a rifle hiding in the bushes at the former U.S. president's golf course in Florida. Maybe he wasn't there to shoot at Donald Trump. Maybe he wanted to, he hated somebody who worked at the golf club or something. Who knows? Maybe he wasn't the target. More charges appear likely, but the initial counts, possession of a firearm as a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number, will allow authorities to keep him in custody as the investigation continues. So yeah, Trump was unharmed. But the incident raised fresh questions about how an unarmed suspect was able to get so close to him just 2 months after another gunman fired at Trump during July 13th rally. Is it 2 months already from the first attempt? Okay. Phone records suggest the suspect may have been lying in wait for nearly 12 hours on Sunday, according to criminal complaints. The U.S. Secret Service opened fire after an agent saw a rifled barrel poking out of the bushes on Sunday at Trump's golf course at West Palm Beach, 100 yards away from where the former president was playing. One point that has been brought up, like how did this guy know that Trump would be playing there that day? Because I guess he doesn't publicly announce where he's gonna play golf in advance. Like, of course, maybe he was staking out the place every day or something, or he has some friends who live close by, and when they see somebody, if it's like Trump's private golf course, maybe there aren't many other people playing there. So when you see somebody playing there, is you can assume it's Trump. Maybe I'm not sure how it works. Well, let's move to the next article. There's plenty of these bits are related to this incident. So, suspected Trump gunman was once charged with possession of a weapon of mass destruction. So, yeah, this is, some people are like, what? And supposedly I think they said that he wasn't even, didn't go to jail for having a possession of a weapon of mass destruction. It's like, that sounds crazy. Um, so, yeah. He was charged with a possession of a weapon of mass destruction more than 20 years ago. I figured he was either dead or in prison by now, Tracy Falk, the charging officer in the case, tells Wired. The magazine, I had no clue that he had moved on and was continuing his escapades. So yeah, local reporting from Greensboro News and Record in 2002 states that Ruth was pulled over by police during a traffic stop. Ruth then drove to the business United Roofing, where he proceeded to barricade himself for 3 hours, the police said at the time. Falk says he was well known in the area, that police would get alerts about him, allegedly related to, as she remembers, weapons and explosives. Yeah. So he was charged with the possession of a fully automatic machine gun, referred to in court filings as a weapon of mass destruction. Like, I'm not an expert on how weapons are categorized in U.S. criminal cases, but it sounds a bit overkill, pardon the pun, to categorize a machine gun as a weapon of mass destruction. Like, yes, technically you can create mass destruction with in just a minute with such a device. However, you can injure or maim or eradicate a bunch of people with a knife too, as we've seen several times in the past decade in various European countries. So you could call a knife a weapon of mass destruction by that logic, because when a normal person hears this term, they think of George W. Bush and Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, I cannot impersonate his voice or way of speaking, but yeah, you think of nukes or chemical weapons or biological weapons, something like that. You don't think of a machine gun. So that's just weird. I think maybe the judge or whoever was in charge was just some anti-gun nut, I guess. Let's move on. So yeah, a Trump assassination attempt suspect learned to have a long criminal record, authorities say. So yeah, he was like, Ruth was stopped for driving with a revoked license, and then he was, and he's Ruth is also a strong supporter of Ukraine in its war with Russia, and that might be interesting information. But yeah, this article isn't that interesting. So yeah, this is sort of county local news. Never heard of this before, so don't know if it makes it more reliable or trustworthy or less trustworthy than mainstream media. In recent tweets by Alex Jones, a shocking revelation was made about an alleged assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. According to the tweet, the would-be assassin is said to be confirmed CIA deep state asset, raising concerns about the potential for another attack in the future. So the tweet suggests that this guy might have CIA connections, and the guy who was supposedly trying to assassinate Trump. Now let's see what the what it bases, I think, is this article or piece of paper, whatever it is. Let's check this first. So on May 4th this year, so just a few months ago, would be Trump assassin Ryan Ruth posted this on his Facebook page, which appears to be from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. I asked ChatGPT to translate it, and okay, so this is all in Russian or Ukrainian or whatever, so I can't read it. But so this is it doesn't make much more sense to me. But to head of the Ivano-Frankivsk Regional Territorial Center for Recruitment and Social Support, Command of Military Unit A7788 has reviewed the candidacy of redacted, born in redacted for military service in Military Unit A7788 under contract for the position of shooter. Storm Battalion of Military Unit A, blah blah blah. Military rank according to staff soldier, salary redacted. So maybe it means that he's been, at least I think some people have interpreted it to mean that he's been accepted into the Ukrainian military as their one of their soldiers. If this is accurate, I don't know if this is like, it might be some hoax or whatever. Could be, I don't know. Um, but it is interesting nonetheless that unless this guy is simply lying about this whole document, but it's supposedly official Ukrainian document and stuff. So um, yeah, I guess this is one of these things that really have to wait for more information to drop, whether it can be verified and what does it actually mean, the implications. But this is supposedly his tweet. Somebody had archived because I think his account has been deleted now. So he's saying, I'm not going to read all of these, but I'm just some of them. I'm flying to Ukraine to fight. I enjoy your thought. I hope for a media campaign to encourage as many people as possible to join the fight in Ukraine. If we can flood Ukraine with thousands of civilians, we can raise the cost for Putin to stop the war. Please. I don't understand the logic. If we can flood Ukraine with thousands of civilians, it's like, to use them as human shields. Is that what he was implying? Yeah, these are from 2022. So he's flying to Ukraine to fight. Please let me know where to go. We need to launch a media campaign to encourage thousands of civilians to fly Ukraine to fight. Let me be the example of what everybody around the globe should stop and join you. Flying to Ukraine to fight, media campaign. So it's like saying this. Okay, he's like saying the almost the same thing. These are all on the same day, like they're slightly different. Like it's almost like some bot. And here, this is like, so this is 17th of February. Was that around the time this war started, I guess? And so this is 20th, 3 days later. If you have funds, I'm not well off. Fly to Ukraine is 2,500 one way. If you have the means of raising funds, I will get it on the next flight. I'm willing to fly to Ukraine and fight, but I need someone else to join me. Please, we need to fly to Ukraine with people from around the world so every country is represented to raise the cost of war. Please reach out to me, make a media campaign now. Flying to Ukraine to fight at this house of February 17th. Yeah, some people are saying that he was like a deep state asset or something because of this, and well, it doesn't, I don't know, seem that organic. At least the stuff he was saying on Facebook, knowing, and this is Twitter, right? X, whatever. Was it still Twitter at? I guess it was still Twitter at this point. Officially, even. Okay, there's still some, and there's this video of. It says here earlier West Palm Beach, Florida. So this is supposedly from the day of the assassination attempt, and this foundering, so, musician guy who makes funny music. He points out, why does MSNBC have footage of Trump on his secret golf outing before the attempt? Does the MSM usually follow him to the golf course when it's unscheduled? Shades of Butler, PA. And I think he said somewhere else that, maybe this is stock footage, but here it says it's earlier. It implies that, it happened very recently. It's not like, from 2 years ago or something. But of course, they could easily just be lying about it. It's mainstream media. But, if the media knew he was going to be there beforehand, um, then of course, if they can find it out, then could any or some potential assassins would too, or they could find it out. And there's this piece of, so yeah, Ryan Ruth, attempted assassin of Trump, was filmed by CBS News in another pro-neo-Nazi-led Azov rally in Ukraine, holding a sign "I am Azov" in Ukrainian, "Save Azov" in English. And neo-Nazi misanthropic and Azov units are listed as supporters of his Taiwan Foreign Legion recruitment project on his website. It's Taiwan Foreign Legion. So he's also, does it mean he's also supporting like Foreign Legion in Taiwan? Okay. He was also filmed in a different Azov rally. Azov Brigade claimed that he was accidentally filmed in this rally is false, but Western media reports Azov Brigade denies at face value. But he seemed to be very active with Ukraine and stuff, so it does sort of glow to me. Like it does seem like this guy is, I think he's still alive, is an intelligence asset. But then again, maybe they want you to think that he's an intelligence asset. But of course, it would be weird if he wasn't, and they frame him as well. If he was just some random nutcase or some guy who is really passionate about Ukraine and stuff, and and he was framed as being intelligence asset by the intelligence community. So I guess what I'm trying to say, like, maybe he is an intelligence asset, but the intelligence agencies want you to know for some reason because it's not very hidden. I'm gonna watch all of. Okay. Let's have a
Ryan Ruth was the suspect in an alleged assassination attempt on former President Trump. I immediately recognized the name because I had been in touch with Ryan Ruth for over a year in the early stages of the war in Ukraine. Like thousands of other international volunteers, he apparently went to Ukraine to help. I don't believe that he was fighting himself, but he had put up signs in Kyiv, Ukraine's capital, offering to help other foreigners find places in Ukrainian battalions.
It's not
And that's how I initially came.
It's Kiev. It used to be like, this is almost like Mandela effect bullshit. Like, you can't decide for political reasons to change the pronunciation of a place. Like, before 2022, it was Kiev, like in English. I don't care what Ukrainians call it because I don't speak Ukrainian. So it's Kiev, and it's written Kiev, not Kyiv. But yeah, well, I'm a language Nazi. I truly despise this. That it's for like nationalism is considered bad nowadays unless you're a nationalist for Ukraine or Israel or some place like that. But yeah, this whole like I'm just wondering, like, because you should never take these stories at face value, anything like, these assassination attempts, like, you know, you can't say for sure, and I'm not saying anything for sure. I'm just spitballing, but like you don't know for sure whether it's the goal of the deep state, let's call it, is to actually get rid of Trump in a violent manner, or do they want to create the perception that they want to get rid of him for whatever reason? Like, okay, for example, like one scenario that I don't think is true, but just hypothetically, like let's say that they want to create a few of these events that They want the regular Americans to really think that okay, they're trying to assassinate Trump, and then maybe finally they will succeed. And then the Americans, of course, will be pissed when they will, like, of course, there is a small group, a significant group, but relatively small, who is already very pissed, I assume. But then there's a lot of people who are still on the fence, like maybe they're a bit sus about this and that. But if he happens to get actually a bullet in his head, and then they look back on these incidents like, oh yeah, it's clear that it wasn't just lone nuts, like these lone nuts were allowed to get away with a lot of stuff. And maybe that will finally drive United States to a civil war, or who knows what, or war with some other country that they will blame the assassination on, like Iran or whatever. Like there are some people saying that they want to assassinate him and then blame it on Iran and start a war with Iran. And it's of course possible, but it, it's a bit simplistic in my opinion. But hey, it doesn't mean that it can't be true. But there's just I just feel like they are building up a narrative, but I'm not smart enough to decode in advance what the punchline of the story will be. That's what I'm saying. But here's the truth about it. Trump said this, I think it was like maybe a day before this latest attempt. He said on, I guess, Truth Social, I hate Taylor Swift. And then somebody tried to have a shot at him again. Coincidence? I think not. But yeah, um, of course, this is only been like a couple of days since his attempt, so more information should be coming out. But I'm gonna move on to the next story. But yeah, it's not so easy to get AI make a picture of Trump, but I succeeded fairly well here, I believe. It actually looks like him because if you try to directly refer to him, or somebody who is clearly him, the AI is like, nope, you can't do that. That's censored. But if you do it a bit indirectly, then he still understands. Well, let's move on. So KKK promotes Haitians. This is, well, there was this South Park episode, but let's have a look at this leaflet first. So there's this problem in Springfield, was it Ohio? Um, about bunch of Haitians there. Was it only Springfield? Was there some other place? I haven't paid so much attention, but like Haitians eating your cats and dogs and whatever. Everybody was talking about it, and maybe still are. But yeah, there's this KKK leaflet that were found in that place. So foreigners and Haitians out. There is no place in America for this filth. We don't need more police officers. We need mass deportation. 1/4 of Springfield is already in poverty. Now $2 million is being used to care for these beasts of the fields. America first. Join us and stand against forced immigration. Trinity White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Like, does this organization really still exist? Because I think it just exists as a boogeyman. Because South Park did it already, and yeah, then this report hate crimes FBI. Rapote Krim Reichman was what language is this? Where is this? Is this sounds like, I don't know, Romanian to me? It is like rapote. I'm pretty sure it means report, and krim is crime, and race, I guess racism. I don't know. Or is this like Haitian language? Whatever. So yeah, South Park did it. No, I have to go back here. So yeah, this was like over 20 years ago, this episode. and the story was that this was the South Park flag, and some people complain about it because it was deemed racist, and some people wanted to change it, and other people wanted to keep it because it was part of their history. And of course, the people then, the town was divided in two, and then they argued about it, and which should they change the flag or keep the original. And then of course the KKK, um, they like, I think the was it Jimbo and his friend, the one with the speaking disorder, the voice box thingy. I don't remember his name. I think they masqueraded as KKK members to try to make them support changing the flag, because they didn't want the flag to be changed, because nobody likes the KKK. So if KKK supports one thing, everybody, most people would support the opposite thing. I think that's how it was. So it's like, come on, this FBI, they should come up with new ideas instead of using the KKK boogeyman. But anyways, this was the flag that was no longer racist. That the new flag, so everybody was happy with this flag in the South Park episode. Let's get back to the no, it's not the article, but yeah, it's just this leaflet. Like, oh, KKK is against Haitians, so therefore you should want more Haitians, right? I don't know. It's silly. Let's move to the next story. Yeah, and this is. Oh wait, before we move on, there was another article still. Yeah, and this story: Denver funneled COVID funds to house thousands of illegal immigrants in shelters. Like, it's not Springfield, but it's similar, related. So Denver reportedly used federal COVID funds to house thousands of illegal immigrants in shelters and motels, leading to crime spikes and evictions. Whistleblowers claim buildings have become magnets for violence, often involving Venezuelan gang members. Taxpayers have spent 70 million on this crisis. Nearby cities, including Castle Rock, are considering lawsuits to protect their communities. It's like, this is like, of course this should be as a matter of course, like, of course the governments are gonna abuse their power and their money and to screw you over. It's more like, what are the regular people gonna do about it? Like, vote harder? And I don't know what should be done, except at least pay attention, and people should discuss it, and then solutions might be reached, more than just to vote harder, because vote harder hasn't worked that well so far. Okay, now we can finally move to the story. So the Pope is being heretical again, saying heretical things. I do like this image. I could create a whole series of heretical Pope image using AI and get good results, because apparently the AI has no objections about creating pictures of the Pope, but many other like authority figures or famous people it doesn't want to make pictures of. But I guess the Pope is not off limits. So here's the story. Pope Francis to children in Singapore. All religions are paths to reach God. They are to make a comparison, like different languages, different dialects to get there, but God is God for everyone. If you start to fight saying, my religion is more important than yours, mine is true and yours isn't, where will this lead us? There is only one God, and each of us has a language to arrive at God. Some are Sikh, Muslim, Hindu, Christians. They are all different ways to God. And if pretty much anybody else said that except the Pope or some Catholic priest or something, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. It's like I would say I almost agree. Like I wouldn't say all religions, but maybe I would say it's the goal of most religions is the same, but yes, the path is different. Of course, you can and should argue over which religion is more accurate, but that's besides the point. But like the Pope saying stuff like that. When I was young, that I don't know, like they would have probably well, nobody would have believed it at first, and okay, this is just some Twitter post. So I guess technically this could be a lie, a hoax from this account or from somebody else. Like I haven't verified to look at the video myself or anything, but knowing what I know about Pope Francis or Bergoglio, I find this credible because this seems to be in line to what he is usually saying and doing. But yeah, I'm not a Catholic, but I'm an agnostic, but agnostic in the sense that I do believe that there is a metaphysical organizing principle which generally is called God. But yes, I don't know what religion actually um, leads to God most effectively or truthfully or whatever. But when you go against the basic tenets of your religion and you are the supposed head of that religion, you should bat an eyelid, even if you are not a member of that religion, especially if it's a very influential religion globally, like Catholicism is, even though it's less influential now than a few decades ago, but still, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, and I don't think it should, because I grew up hating Catholicism. Like when I was a kid, like a teenager, I was an atheist and despised Christianity and Catholicism especially because I was from a Protestant country, and it's still Protestantism, Lutheranism, is that the right way? Whatever. It made more sense to me because than Catholicism. But now that I'm older and I have a different perspective, and I've seen all these attacks on Catholicism, how they've you know sought to subvert it, like all this Vatican II and stuff, that like this blatant heresy that is going on nowadays. It's like I can't help but think like maybe once upon a time the Catholic Church was a force for good, like not perfect or anything, but like maybe it wasn't as black and white as I thought when I was a kid. Um, but yeah, let's move on to the next story. And that's not really a news article; it's just a meme. It's a meme I saw, and it feels funny creating this AI image of just a meme. But I did it anyways because I need a headline for it. So, and a meme by this guy Sneeko, and I don't really know who he is. He's some sort of streamer, I believe, and a bunch of people seem to be talking about it every day on my, Twitter feed. That sometimes they praise him and sometimes they're butthurt over what he says, and I still don't understand like why do people keep giving him attention, and now I'm doing it, but hey, I don't. I just found this meme interesting that he posted. Um, because it created some discussion and butthurt and stuff like that. And so yeah, so there's this black guy saying he's crying and he says, "You dominated my race, made us become subservient to the society you now control." And there's this white Chad guy saying, "Because we are superior." And then in the next picture, assuming that maybe you can't see what I'm saying or something, maybe you're playing football and listening to me or who knows what. So anyway, there's then in the next picture the Chad, the white guy is crying, and then there's just this guy with a big nose. This well, is a Jew clearly, just looking at him dominantly, and the implication, of course, is that Jews dominate, control white people, and and this meme implies they are superior. Like I'm not gonna, I can't make the judgment here whether the allegation is accurate or not. I'm just gonna say that clearly, like white Western countries nowadays are dominated by a subversive elite with all kinds of people in it, an elite that clearly doesn't have the best interest of the European people at hand, or the people of European origin or anything like that. Some people identify that as Jews. You can make your own decisions. I'm not gonna try to push a narrative this or that way, except that, of course, there are many Jews involved in that group, but whether it is fair to say it's overall Jewish or something, that's something that's a more complicated issue. But clearly, like if you look at America, IPAC wields a lot of influence, or like Israeli groups have pushed a lot of mass immigration to Europe, and Hollywood is it has a distinct Jewish element to it, even though, maybe it's unfair to say that they control it, but it has an element to it of them. So, anyways, so, some people didn't like the meme, but I think it has a kernel of truth because, like, um, just talking about the subversive elite that is controlling the West now, that why are they allowed this status, um, especially, like, if Europeans are superior in some sense, as some people claim, um, like how do these two things go together? And because I lost my okay. Let's get like let's look at history, because, like, if you said this, like, that Europeans are superior, like, 100, 200 years ago, it would have been a much stronger argument back then, because you couldn't really deny that back then, 200 years ago, or 150 years ago, European nations controlled pretty much the whole world. But they don't do it anymore. Like, and of course, they had colonialism and imperialism and all that stuff. But because they had superior statecraft, superior technology, and all that. But, like, why aren't they? Why isn't Europe or people of European descent in charge so clearly nowadays? Like, what happened? Like, because for personally, I would say that um, the motivations for imperialism, they were like questionable. Like, who really benefited from it? Like, beyond the, because nowadays the left, of course, says that imperialism bad, whereas, then the right might be contrarian in that sense and says no, imperialism good. We, let's say, some people say that we civilized the savages. But okay, sure. So how was that beneficial? How did that benefit Europe to civilize the savages, so to speak? And what's the end result? Because, like, you look at France, France, they had lots of colonies and stuff in Africa, and now Paris seems to be, dominantly African, or like England had India, and now England, especially London, is seems to be in control of Indians and Pakistanis. Like, is that the end product of British superiority? Like, how does that make you superior? Like, and there, there was one argument that, sort of suggested it's unfair to compare conquerors to, like, subversive, like, cheaters. Sure, it is, but then again, if the end result is the same, that you end up winning and gaining the resources and whatnot, then can you really complain? Like, yes, certainly, I do think, like, having a honest warrior culture is more you know morally acceptable and stuff, but still than being a swindler, liar, and cheat society. But if you don't know how to maintain that society, however, then it's not such a great idea. Like, if you are intellectually or morally so weak that you allow your society to be subverted, what does it say about you? Like, I made a comment about this on Twitter, that there's a saying, fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on you. It's like, how many times have the people of the West been um, swindled, fooled? How many times have they been fooled just in the past few decades? But nothing seems to change. So, and I'm not saying that the West or anything deserves that. White people deserve to be ruled by a subversive, malicious elite. Not at all. But I'm saying, my ultimate point here is that if you don't engage in self-reflection, if you just keep saying, "Oh, we are superior, ooga booga," then yeah, you will be subverted by somebody who is smarter than you. If you are this simple-minded, if you don't see beyond, like, "Ooh, we make space rocket, we strong." It's like, what's the ultimate goal of it? All of it, like, we make big gun, bang bang, better gun than you. Like, for what? For what purpose do you make them? But, like, some people, in the right, who are pro white, as they call it. I'm pro white, although I'm not. I don't like the term white because it's very American. But anyways, it's they don't like it when you criticize uh, the West, even though it has to be. There clearly are many problems, and you have to identify the problem to rectify it. But this attitude, if you get butthurt over a meme like this, I think it says something about you. Like, why are our government so subverted? Like, it's not like they are masterminds of manipulation, because once you get past the first hurdle, you can see that there are lots of lies in the media and government and stuff. It's just because the lies are perpetuated everywhere. Is that it's not so easy psychologically to get over it, but it's not like some overly complicated matter. But let's move on. I wasted enough time on just a meme, but I wanted to talk about it. So yeah, P Daddy, no, Puff Diddy, P Diddy, Sean Combs was arrested. It was just today. So yeah, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested by the FBI. NBC is reporting. Wow, Diddy's home was raided a couple of months ago by Homeland Security after human trafficking allegations. Many people have been comparing his allegedly heinous acts to those of Jeffrey Epstein. Either a lot of elites might be on the verge of being exposed, or Diddy will end up being silenced and Epsteined. Now, I don't know who this Nick Sartor guy is, or where did he base his allegations that this comparison to Jeffrey Epstein, like many people. Who are these many people? His circle jerk friends, or are they actually people who know something about this? Because I don't know much about it. Because I do remember a few months ago there was some video of P Diddy, whatever, Poof the daddy, Poof the father, uh, beating up his girlfriend, like some old video footage from like years ago. But for some reason, it hadn't been made public until then. Like obviously somebody had been covering for him. So I guess the question would be, why aren't they covering for him anymore? Like maybe he angered some big boss in the deep state and now they're throwing him under the bus, or maybe the patriots are truly in control and now the bad guys finally they're gonna all be arrested, and who knows why this is happening now. Like of course somebody pointed out that the timing for his arrest is a distraction from the Trump assassination attempt, but who knows, it could be even reversed, that people think that they want you to think that this is a distraction from the Trump assassination attempt, but actually the assassination attempt is a distraction from this. And that's why they do it in reverse order. Maybe this is actually a bigger deal in the end. Who knows? But yeah, his ex girlfriend or wife or whatever is charging him with abuse and beating her up and whatever. Yeah, Ventura, what was her name? Yeah, so Music Mogul has been under mounting scrutiny since 2023 lawsuit by his former girlfriend Cassie accused him of sex trafficking and years of abuse. Mr. Combs' representatives called him an innocent man. Sean Combs, the music mogul whose career has been upended by sexual assault lawsuits and a federal investigation, was arrested at a Manhattan hotel on Monday evening after a grand jury indicted him. The indictment is sealed and charges were not announced, but Mark Agnifilo, a lawyer for Mr. Coombs, said he was being charged with racketeering and sex trafficking. The statement from Mr. Coombs' legal team said they were disappointed with the decision to prosecute him and noted that he had been cooperative with the investigation and voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. So he's a music item, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody knows who he is, or if they don't know, or maybe are better off. Never liked him. I think his music has been always shit. So yeah, it's just sex trafficking or human trafficking. Oh, which word? Yeah, sex trafficking is the word they use. So yeah, I just wondering whether it's actually Epstein level stuff, as some are hinting, this vague people, or whether it's just maybe his parties had some 10 girls that came and went and stuff. Like, of course, it's bad, but it's still smaller in scale if it's just some, basically entertainment for his friends and stuff. So, yeah, I have to see where this story goes as well, because the bad thing is you can never be sure, like, how much do you see beyond the surface. There's always, some hidden stuff, hidden motivations. Like, why now? Why is his misdeeds coming to light now? Like first his alleged abuse of his girlfriend and all of that, and now this. Like, why wasn't it made years ago? This maybe they had to. Maybe the authorities had to gather evidence. I don't know. But anyways, let's get to the final story. I didn't put my own headline here because the AI did it so beautifully for me. It's retarded. Denver emerged strong and first. So here is the story. It's about Denuvo. So Denuvo was removed from the game Jedi Survivor, and it brought it up 20 frames per second. So it's supposedly 20 frames per second faster without Denuvo. Because I made a you know segment on Denuvo. I don't think it was last week or maybe a couple of weeks ago, but most of my sources were years old. I didn't see any new sources, and of course this is just a Reddit post that somebody screen capped on Twitter, so it could be fake news, but in case it's not, like I should look more into it, but I didn't really have time yet. I had these more pressing stories like the assassination attempt to look into and stuff. But like, mm, I don't, well, I never see like bigger YouTube channels on gaming and stuff talk about Denuvo. Like they only care about whether it's woke or not. And of course, that is an important issue, like, sure. But they should also pay attention whether it has de novo that supposedly makes your games work, much more slowly and badly and all that. De novo, of course, is the anti-piracy software. And you can have your anti-piracy software in games all you want, but just don't make the experience worse for the player. Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing really to add to this, except that I wish really that gamers would talk about it more, because it's really aggravating. It's like I feel like some crazy conspiracy theorist shouting about the reptilians, shapeshifters or something. It's like I can see or like they live. I have the glasses. I can see that those people over there are some aliens, reptilian shapeshifters, but like everybody thinks you are crazy and ignores you. But like, except that this de novo thing isn't so, it shouldn't be like such a big deal, but for some reason nobody really wants to talk about it except few random people on the internet. But like, no, I'd really want to see like some heel versus babyface or somebody like that make a video about de novo, and or if I'm wrong, if these people are wrong, then de novo actually does nothing harmful to the game or your software or anything, then make a video debunking these claims. At least they should talk about de novo. But let's end the stream. My closing words, my closing argument is, of course, well, the Trump assassination attempt. Well, we don't even have any video or stuff, so of course it's easy for especially TDS, Trump derangement syndrome leftists to accuse that it never happened. And well, it's fair. Like, if there is no evidence to say it happened, it makes sense, but it still wouldn't really make sense for Trump to manufacture an event such as this just for clout or advertisement, because I don't think he needs it. So in that sense, I don't think Trump would be faking it. But it is like, I do feel like there's some sort of grand narrative that they are organizing, like like a Rube Goldberg machine or something, that is like they're putting these pieces in tactical locations and they push the ball forward, and now it's like uh, things are happening, but can't really say where it's heading exactly because, or maybe it's like maybe it doesn't really even matter who is gonna be the president in a few months, couple of months when America has the election. Yeah, it's less than 2 months from now, right? Damn, time goes fast. But anyway, so um, yeah, it's just you know keep your eyes and ears open because this is like every fucking side is trying to push their political narrative, whether it's the left or the right or the whether it's the far left or the far right or the center left or the center right or whatever. Everybody has their own agenda. Like everybody has their like a package that you're supposed to believe. Like if you're a MAGA person, you have to support Israel and you have to uh, of course support Trump and stuff. Or if you're from the left, then you have to support the rainbow and you have to support Palestine. And it's just like can't you choose your own stuff? Maybe you want to support, I don't know, only this and that, but why do you have to buy this whole package, like ready-made package of what you should believe? Like I don't that pisses me off, like this talking point politics that you don't actually, like something like this assassination attempt happens, and then you're either you're on the left and you say that it never happened, but it should have and he deserved it. And or if you're on the right, it's like, oh, look at this crazy left, we are gonna complain and we're not gonna do anything about it. And it's like, do something else. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's a good cue to end the stream. So I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is Golden News on Tuesday, Newsday, and I thank you for watching. Bye bye.